All right, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy back again. I am not plugged in. Classic. So give me one quick second here. And now we're really live with my good microphone voice. There we go, ladies and germs. Okay, training camp, padded practice, day 2. Chopping it up again. And the offense is basically just a second team unit at this point. We're without now watching Lamar Jackson, Gus Edwards. Sammy Watkins wasn't out there today. Kevin Zeitler wasn't out there today. Marquise Brown isn't out there. It's a laundry list. So the Ravens offense was quite shorthanded today. Ultimately, you're seeing Ben Powers take a lot of reps at right guard. He looks like the direct second string right guard, while Ben Cleveland was at left guard, Tyree Phillips at left tackle, Bradley Bozeman and Alejandro Villanueva rocking out at center and right tackle there. So practice started off today with positional work, and there's a little bit of special teams work originally. So going back through my notes here, let's see. So they had a fun drill they were doing that I actually liked a lot, and I called it dummy turn pursue. So it was like a tackling dummy, a tackling 10 yards downfield, a tackling dummy 20 yards downfield, then a tackling dummy about 30 yards downfield. And what they would simulate would be weaving your way downfield on a punt and then working back up. Let's say, you run around a punt returner and then you have to turn and run upfield to go catch them from behind because they get that momentum, immediately going forwards while you have to stop your momentum, go the other way. So that was a nice little drill just to simulate chasing down returners. The offensive linemen I gravitated towards as they got into the cheese grater, which is always an offensive lineman's worst nightmare, especially when you're Alejandro Villanueva and you're 6'9", or Ben Cleveland, you're 360 pounds. So Joe D really laid into Ben Cleveland today early on. He was not happy with his pass set. He was not happy with where his butt was. He was not happy with his overall pass sets. It looked like he was screaming at him, told him to go get the dang pad, and was not pleased there. So he's working on Cleveland's pass set. He was working on Villanueva. Villanueva fell down in the cheese grater, which is like my morning cup of coffee. It's always funny to see somebody go down in those. These giant guys are basically just crammed into a very tiny space. What they're practicing is staying low, firing off the ball so that you can maintain leverage and stay square. And the thing I'll say on Ben Cleveland is that, you see Joe D working through and trying to fix other guys' stances. And it looks like his perfect stance, consider my fingers here, the helmet, and my wrist here, the butt. Looks like he likes just a slight little rise and a pretty flat back. Good Lord, that was tough to say for some reason. So Ben Cleveland is like here, like his butt is tucked under almost like he's catching in baseball and his head is up. So he's tucked into this really tiny spot. He just looks really stiff, very inflexible there. And it's preventing him from being able to use his feet quickly and get a good split as he's working in his initial steps out of his stance. So, Ben Cleveland had, one-on-ones later. I saw him able to stonewall Justin Matabuike in one rep, and it was kind of hard. They kind of hide them when they're doing those one-on-ones a little bit. And it's, pad level is not great there right now for Cleveland, but his anchor is really good. So when he's up and he's never going to lose power-wise. Very rarely you're going to see him lose power-wise. And the problem is going to be quickness. And, as Cole Jackson was saying a little bit earlier, what's going on in Graven, as Cole Jackson was saying a little bit earlier, you want him to get on guys quickly because he's a little bit, he's slower, he has slower feet, and he's struggling to do that because he's not exploding out of his stance. So it's hard to get on someone quickly when you're not quick. So it's a little bit tough there. But, he occupies so much space, and he is what he is. He's not going to be able to lose 20 pounds right now. He's not going to be able to go do Pilates right now. So that's something to work on for next season. But to me, it looks like Tyree Phillips is more impressive overall. He had a really strong day at left tackle. One-on-ones, he whooped Dalen Hayes bad. ran him right around the arc and kind of tossed him aside a little bit. He didn't put him on the ground or anything, but back-to-back reps, he just really easily dealt with Dalen Hayes. He had some nice blocks throughout the day, able to crash, able to work. He's much more athletic, and he was working at left tackle. So that was encouraging to see. Ben Powers got put on his keister, got straight up run over by Chris Smith in a bull rush. And that was probably like the most embarrassing rep I think I've seen from anyone. Chris Smith is a strong dude. He's very low center of gravity, and he just straight up ran over Ben Powers on a pass play. But that's jumping ahead a little bit. So then we got Dummy. So that was watching some one-on-ones that went down, and Nigel Warrior had a really nice pass breakup. Nigel Warrior ended up leaving practice. They brought a stretcher out for him, and he was able to walk off. So it was really unfortunate. He's been having a nice camp, even though he's been playing a lot of outside corner, and that's a tough position for him. He didn't play that in college, and he's not quite built that way. He's kind of like more like a Chuck Clark type player, but he had some fluid movements, and then boom, all of a sudden he's done. So we'll see what happens with him. Hopefully he's able to recover. I thought he so far has a really strong chance to make the roster based on what I've seen, based on what I've heard, and based on what the Ravens are doing with him, saying they're basically so confident with him at safety. They wanted to get Brandon Stevens and Geno Stone and Ardarius Washington reps and let Warrior play a little bit more corner. So that was encouraging. Deshaun Elliott has put together really rock star days back to back, in my opinion. He's had some pass breakups. He was able to grab an interception that Khalil Dorsey kind of made a play on the ball, and then he was able to go grab it, make an interception. He has high energy. He's dancing a little bit. The energy overall was low, I want to say. Again, there's no one on the offense. They're without Jackson, Brown, Edwards, Zeitler, Watkins. Even Boykin. And, so that's, you're talking 6+ guys there that, maybe not Boykin as much, but 5-6 guys that are big time players in this offense, your quarterback and all that good stuff. So that was difficult. The offense came out in full team in the first session, 21 personnel. And I had that Humphrey locked up Bateman really tightly, and McSorley tried to throw kind of a jump ball, and it just no way that he was going to be able to catch it with Marlon's coverage. Elliott and OA blew up a play. OA's blown up quite a few plays. So people are kind of questionable on OA a little bit because he is just winning with speed around the outside consistently. Every day he's able to make some plays using speed, beating Villanueva a couple of times today. He's able to – I'm getting a haircut tomorrow. I have headphones on. Leave me alone. I'm getting a haircut tomorrow, and it looks good when I have it signed, so whatever. But, so OA's been making plays. I saw him tie up Devin Duvernay on a little option route, and he was a little deceptive, and he was able to kind of tie him up, make McSorley have to throw the ball away. McSorley had a pretty sharp day overall today, but Huntley threw 3 picks. He tried to honey hole, meaning throw between like a squatting corner and a cover 2 safety. Not sure if it was 6 or 2, but he tried to honey hole Bateman on a jump ball, and Averett just faded with it, saw it coming and picked it. Then, like I said, Elliott had a pick, and then the play before that, Marlon Humphrey kind of was able to snap back across his man and kind of threw up a paw. And Marlon Humphrey just doesn't have good hands, man. He can pick some balls off, but the ball hit his hand, and I heard when it hit his hand, like it was hitting a stone. So he was able to catch it pretty cleanly, but he's just not a natural hands guy. Wouldn't be an offensive player. So good thing he's playing defense, and that's the path his dad put him on. But so there was picks there from Huntley. Huntley had a couple nice throws overall, and whatever, but definitely McSorley won the day. I had an interesting little scenario that was the Ravens were in empty, and Mark Andrews did a motion return, which means he started slot left, came across the formation about behind the tackle, and then came back. And the reason you do those motions is to detect what coverage the defense is in, because if they're in man, most likely they're going to carry with the motion, or they're going to switch guys and you'll be able to see it. That didn't happen, so you knew it was zone. So what we ended up seeing was Jimmy Smith rotated to single high as the middle of the field closed, and I guess a cover 3 kind of look. And then McSorley, I believe, I didn't have it written down. I think McSorley threw a beautiful ball to Benjamin Victor, who's a really unique mover, but threw a beautiful ball to him up the seam for a first down. So Interesting there to see Jimmy Smith playing the single high. Doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes. Tyler Huntley, they ran a bash, and Tyler Huntley got Lamar's like bread and butter, the power option or the man gap option stuff. And Huntley was like 8 yards downfield before anyone had a chance. Then Chris Smith ran over Ben Powers, like I said. Then Tyson Williams had, I think, like an outside zone carry and ran Anthony Averett the hell over on the sideline. Absolutely trucked Anthony Averett, which was interesting. So one thing about McSorley is that I think I don't know if he's trying to show off or what it is, but sometimes it works out, but not say show off. I think demonstrate his knowledge of the offense is a better way to put it. And McSorley changes the play at the line so much, so incredibly much. So that has been one major development. And got to go grab my laptop charger. Taking a quick intermission, folks. Damn it. Sorry about that, folks. Laptop was lower battery than I realized. Doing it live. Okay, we are back. So as I was saying, McSorley is changing the play a ton, I think, to try to demonstrate his knowledge of the offense. Had to call a timeout because of it. And it feels like a little bit too much at times, but you like to see him trying to go through audibles and go through checks, and he's rearranging the personnel or rearranging the alignment, pardon me. Out of breath here now. Patrick Queen, I had written down, looks just really fast overall. He's making plays quickly, and he had really good pursuit angles. Oh, good Lord, I'm out of breath. Need a second here, folks. Ran all the way through the entire house. Okay, so Queen looks really fast. He looks explosive. He would have had a couple sacks today. He was hunting down Huntley a couple times there and making some outstanding plays. Angles, good pursuit, hustling, banana pursuing guys, like I said, forcing them to the sideline, all that good stuff. So Queen looks quite sharp. It's kind of tough to see the run game all the way because you're viewing from the sideline, and then there's a big scrum in the middle, and you gotta be able to have a little bit of a more perspective to see what's going on in the middle sometimes when there's 10 giant bodies in there. That's why I love the All-22 that NFL Game Pass is so kindly taken down. But hopefully we get that back soon. McSorley I had was calmly taking zone sit-downs underneath, getting the ball out much quicker. So he had a nice day today. There were a couple throws, a couple throwaways, and sometimes he still was taking too long overall, but McSorley ended up having a strong day, getting the ball out in rhythm, demonstrating those audibles and some different things. He was playing mistake-free football. Had a couple nice, scrambles where it was immediately scrambling, not like, I basically am getting sacked and I'm just going to tuck it because I don't want to throw the ball, which he does a lot. He instead was, sliding as soon as the pass rush started to move around him, using the pocket, better pocket management than taking off and having tons of room. So that was nice. 7-on-7s. Deion Kane is just, with all these guys out, I'd say Prochet and Kane and Bateman are kind of the three best receivers right now. Kane has strung together 3 really strong practices dating back to, or actually I guess 4, dating back to the stadium practice. So he beat Humphrey over top. He's able to really square himself around, as I've mentioned, and has been, a consistent pass catcher on the outside. That's been a nice development to see. At this point, you got to think he's looking a little better than Miles Boykin has. He's getting some accurate targets, and he's able to bring them down. The one that he had over Humphrey was like 40 yards downfield. McSorley got it out kind of late. Like he beat Humphrey. Humphrey recovered, and the ball came out as Humphrey was in recovery, and he still was able to wall him off. And it was just a great catch at the catch point. Was able to wrestle the ball away from Humphrey, so that was nice. Then I kind of saw Josh Oliver make a couple nice catches over the middle. He looks good. He's moving well still. So Oliver's had, a nice camp so far. It looks like that's, like I said, that 7th round pick, if I had to bet right now, is going to Jacksonville. And I watched some one-on-ones, like Cleveland. So one-on-ones, you have to, and it's fun to see them, and it's fun to cover them, especially at the Senior Bowl when you're seeing some guys you haven't seen up close before and all that good stuff. But it's, you got to think about what the drill is. If it's 7-on-7, there's no pass rush, so the quarterback has full vision the entire time. The DBs are covering for 3, 4, 5 seconds. A lot of these times it's going to be a sack or an incompletion or a check down well before it ends up being a completion. So it's like, oh, well, Marlon Humphrey keeps getting beat in coverage. It's like, yeah, he's covering for 6 seconds. So one-on-ones, you line up 5 offensive linemen. That's how the Ravens are running it. Sometimes you just do half of the line and then whatever, align the gap. But they're lining up all 5. And the offensive line, number one, it's going to be a pass play. So, the defensive lineman is going to fire out of their stance. Number 2, the offensive lineman knows who their man is and knows who is coming. Like, it is just locking horns, working on technique. There's not too many circumstances where the play is that evident and your man is that evident. A lot of time that's, 2-minute drill, late in games, things like that. So, it's not full-fledged. You always have to take these drills with a little grain of salt. But Cleveland had a couple nice reps against Madubuike. They were doing 2 at a time. So it'd be like Madubuike would line up over Cleveland. They would go, and then they would go again, and then it would switch. I saw Hayes beat Adrian Ely with a bull rush. Aaron Adoye kind of worked Ben Powers a little bit. Bowser had a nice inside move, a little bit of a rip. Kind of looked like a rip and a swipe of Foster Sorrell. What else we got? Continuing on. Villanueva stonewalled away in one-on-ones. Broderick Washington beat Ben Bredesen with a nice bull rush and kind of just disengaged. I had Javon Swan whooped Ben Cleveland with a swim move. And then Tyree Phillips, like I mentioned earlier, stonewalled Dalen Hayes, who tried to spin and then tried to bull rush. Neither of those worked. I had that he ate him alive twice in a row. Ely stood up to Ferguson 2 reps in a row. And really, I think I saw Mike Preston say it, and he's right. Seriously, Ferguson just has a bull rush. Like, that's all he does. Come off the line strong, and he can generate some movement, but there's just no diversity there in his pass rush. You're not seeing rips, you're not seeing swipes. Like, again, I've talked about Tyus Bowser. I don't think he's the most advanced pass rusher in terms of being able to string together, a chop and a rip, or a swipe and a club, or whatever. Ferguson's just coming off the line, locking horns and trying to shove you into the backfield. Sometimes it works a little bit, but year 3, that's still all you got. It's not very encouraging there, but he looks good, against the run. He looks good, setting the edge and doing some of those things. He's just not incredibly disruptive as a pass rusher because he kind of, I guess, is, for lack of a better word, limited there in terms of execution. Like, if you have a bull rush, to me, the next thing I want to move on is if you're not a guy who likes to use finesse and try, he's not a guy that wins with speed or things like that. So if there's bull rush, you want to go with push. You fake the bull rush. So you lock out into it, grab some jersey and pull. It's my favorite move, the push pull. Some people call it different things, but I love push pull. If you're a strong bull rusher, taking a guy, using their momentum against him, he's, trying to lean forward into you. So rip him down as he's bracing for that bull rush and trying to stop your momentum. Use it against him. He has long arms. So I don't know what's going on there in terms of that development. Guys are supposed to go to, get trained privately and work on things like that in the off season and, meet up with other football players and tons of stuff like that. So it's just, that's not there. Prochet had a nice snag on a high catch when I went back to 7-on-7s. Prochet consistently had a nice day today throughout. Nothing too crazy till the very end. He had another touchdown, but looked good. Was on the boundary a bit, doing some things. McSorley loves to change the play, 3rd time already. So McSorley was working on audibles. Didn't see Huntley really doing that. So I don't think, maybe that's a coaching point. Maybe that's I don't know. So maybe they want McSorley doing it more, or maybe he's trying to demonstrate his knowledge. Cleveland. So then they get into full team. I have Cleveland was giving away his blocks. He was leaning and looking like a child does, in Pee Wee, looking where you're going to go. And because of that, Aaron Crawford immediately counterstepped him. So I think Crawford was probably lined up at the 1 tech over, between Cleveland and Bozeman. and Cleveland tried to come down block on him, and Crawford immediately knew it was coming, swiped his hands down, and then stepped the other way. So he whiffed there a little bit. I had Huntley. I have chicken scratch. Huntley tries to honey hole Bateman and 23 intercepts. That's what we got there. So yeah, that was the interception I talked about. Just running through some more here. I had Benjamin Victor is thin, but he adjusts really well to the ball. He is a rare mover. He's very twitched up. He's light. He's lean. He's not a very strong guy, but he's tall. He's lanky, has a big catch radius. He's quick and very twitchy mover. He kind of is able, he almost pirouetted on the sideline. It looked like he was expecting the ball to come to his inside shoulder on the left sideline. Instead, it was thrown like away back. People call that back shoulder. It wasn't exactly a back shoulder throw, but he did a complete pirouette toe tap. The ball was he couldn't stay in bounds and catch the ball, but he would have if the ball was accurate. It was a little bit of a throwaway, but he adjusted the ball really well. I had Prochet taking some reps on the boundary. He ran a nice slant on Westry there, and he gave just a slight little outside move, snap back inside, was able to do it. Then I had Cleveland sloppy. As I said, his pass sets just didn't look good. I had OA tied up Duvernay, which I already hit on. Bateman had a really nice catch on Devontae Harris. Bateman probably had his most catches overall in the day that I've seen in a single day today. He kind of had his pitch count taken away, or he looked like he was on a pitch count later in practice. So it wasn't, it wasn't too many spectacular plays overall. There were some nice plays, some nice cross. It was a lot of zone sit downs. There's a lot of speed outs, underneath stuff where I think he's going to win a lot underneath. He has a really good feel for spacing and where safeties are, and is a very high IQ guy in terms of route running and all that good stuff. So he caught 6, 7, 8 balls today. So that was really encouraging. Towards the end there, then, that I had Ardarius Washington had a pass breakup. I believe, I might be mistaken here, I didn't write it all down. I was kind of talking with Kyle Andrews, who I got to finally meet today, and Kyle Barber as well. But I believe Ardarius Washington was covering Tony Polajan, however you pronounce his name, up the seam, and Jordan Richards was covering the slot receiver on the same side, which was, I believe, Prochet again, and Washington. So I think Pernell McPhee this was red zone 11 on 11. I think, yeah, red zone 11 on 11. And McSorley got someone to jump. So he took a shot to the end zone, and Ardarius Washington peeled off of Polon, dove through the air, swatted it away. He's been getting a lot more run at safety. He looked pretty good out there today. So I think he had a strong day overall, and saw him make a couple plays on the ball. Then, of course, James Prochet caps it off towards the end there with a smash concept, I think, corner route, and just get separation there. He's just continuing to make play after play after play. It was another good day for him. And overall, really strong day. So that was the long and short of what I saw out there today, drill-wise, position-wise, and things like that. Again, the offense was generally Bowser won with pass rushes, Campbell won with pass rushes, OA won with pass rushes, Queen won with pass rushes. The safeties were it was a big time defensive day yet again. Stuff was getting stuffed. So McSorley, I thought, had a nice day overall, but there just wasn't a ton of explosive plays. There was, you're going to see, they're practicing from 8:30 to 11. You're going to see some touchdowns. You're going to see some situations. It's not full contact either. This is not a game. They're not tackling. They're not trying to do everything they get. Marlon Humphrey gets beat by Deion Kane. He kind of goes to the catch point and attacks the ball. He's not jumping on top of Deion Kane and karate chopping his arms down and maybe hurting him. It's practice. These are your teammates. They go hard. There's some big collisions at times, but ultimately it's not a life or death situation here. So guys are going to get beat sometimes. The offense is going to score touchdowns, but overall there's 3 interceptions, tons of pass breakups, some incompletions. McSorley threw a couple balls away, but thought he did a nice job getting the ball in rhythm, and Huntley completed some passes as well. I just had 3 interceptions. He had back-to-back picks, and he had a pick earlier on. So definitely was a better day for McSorley, but it's up one day, the next is up for another guy. So just stringing it along. We'll go back through some of these comments here and see what people are interested in. Gang, howdy, what's up? What's up, fellas? Gang. Marquitz Brown, Hollywood Brown. How do you think do you think he'll be ready week 1? Yeah, I think he'll be ready. Adam Jones, I appreciate you. Golden Glove in the building. Yep, the 5-time Gold Glover. Devon Johnson. Yeah, his pad level is insane and stiffness is a problem. Tyree Phillips plays a little bit too high as well. Mataboike, I think Mataboike was still explosive today. I couldn't see all of the one-on-one. Some of them are a little bit hard to see, and I missed like the first probably like 30% of them walking over and stuff. I found a nice little spot where I could watch both 7-on-7 and one-on-ones at the same time. But Mataboike, I don't think he had a crazy day today. Yesterday, he was a real menace, though. He was really tearing guys apart. Adam Jones said he saw a tweet that Owe was flying. A lot of people seem to be impressed with him so far. Does he remind you of Daniil Hunter on the field? Seemed like a common comp. So the comp for Daniil Hunter was more that Owe had no sacks, and Daniil Hunter had like 1 sack in their final season before being drafted. So everyone's like, oh, well, it doesn't matter. Daniil Hunter had 1 sack, and now he's one of the best players in the league. I don't really know. I can't really think of a comp for Owe. He's really fast. He's really long. He's really explosive. I guess kind of Bud Dupree. He reminds me of a little bit. He's not as big as Bud Dupree. He's not maybe as strong of a player, a little more on the finesse side, but just kind of explosiveness-wise and length and being disruptive. And I think Owe is going to be able to do more in coverage. He looks pretty damn quick dropping and spot dropping, and he's tying guys up. Like I mentioned, Devin Duvernay. I saw him get his hands on Duvernay, so that was a nice piece. Cleveland is more of a developmental prospect than Owe, it seems. I mean, they just want him to get his pass set the way they want it and get used to it. So, Owe, like the Ravens said, like I said, when you go back through, he's an amazing run defender. So you're not having to develop an outside linebacker if you trust him against the run. You can live with not getting pressure. You can't live with getting obliterated against the run and missing assignments and being a liability against the run. Because when teams can run the ball, as the Ravens know, because it's what they do, it makes life a lot easier for the offense. I cut my hair. I am getting it cut tomorrow. I have a monthly recurring appointment now with my barber, Sam Cuts in Fat Hill. He's the man. McSorley is the better backup. We'll see. I mean, Huntley's a better athlete. Huntley is a better deep ball. McSorley is a little more turnover cautious maybe, but he's also like overly conservative, and I don't think he really sees what's going on downfield quite as much unless it's a one-on-one. But McSorley does throw a nice one-on-one ball. Both of them do. How is Sean Wade doing? Could Deion Kane make the 53? Who takes over blocking wide receiver if Boykin is cut? Like, who cares who the blocking wide receiver is? Like, I understand it's an emphasis for the Ravens offense, but Watkins can block. I mean, whatever. You have Mark Andrews, you have Nick Boyle, hopefully coming back soon, Ricard, all these guys. Like, worry about the aspect. Like, it's like signing Kyle Korver and then complaining about his defense. Like, if you sign a shooter, if you sign a certain type of player, if you sign a wide receiver, like, I get they want him to block. You can work on their blocking, but like Hollywood Brown plays the most of the receivers. He can't block. He tries. He has some nice reps from time to time, but whatever. Sean Wade is going to be able to tackle really well. I think he locked up a tight end like straight up as soon as they caught the ball, and the tight end was like real. I think it was Polion was trying to really like bust through it and couldn't move, and then Geno Stone came up and like really ended it. So how's Jimmy looked? Saw him at practice, looked like he was having fun getting into music. Yeah, I mean, he's a vet, man. So he's going through, making plays, trying to stay healthy, mentally going through some things and getting all that together. LJ back in 3 days. Yep. Have any other scuffles between Ben Mason? Nope, there's nothing today. Didn't see any of those. The energy was pretty low today overall, I'd say, which I think a lot of that has to do with the fact that there's no Watkins. All those guys, no Watkins, no Brown, no Lamar, no Gus, no Zeitler, no, all these guys are missing. So I think it was just kind of flat a little bit today offensively. I mean, Andrews is out there. Villanueva is new. It's like, so Andrews, Bozeman, Dobbins, and I guess like Duvernay, like those are all the players, all the offensive players that have played at least 1 year with the Ravens previously and get significant playing time in some way. So that's not a lot. So the energy was pretty low overall, I'd say. Didn't get too chippy out there today. Let's see. Governor Hogan felt the need to speak on my quarterback. Well, that is what it is. Everything runs on a different gear with that man in the game. I don't know who that's about. Spenny ran a suicide. Yeah, I've jumped down the stairs, back up the stairs real fast. Whew, didn't breathe, I don't think, the whole time, but I'm good now. Appreciate the concern. The defense needs experience trying to cover an MVP caliber quarterback. I mean, that helps for sure. A whole lot of different feel for the offense. Have they been simulating that damn RB wheel route in practice? I don't know. Somewhat. I think I've seen some seams, some halfback seams, but I haven't really seen a bunch of wheels. Ricard runs like the F players will run those when they're in motion. Mason and Ricard. Miles may actually be the bubble guy if the current trend continues. I think they could get anything for him. Probably like a 6th-round pick or something. I think he's got this year and next year, and people might like him. And he's skilled. He's inconsistent, and he's not there mentally. Someone might look at all that and be like, yeah, we'll take that guy. But I don't know. Curious. It's all between the ears for Cleveland. No, that is not the problem. It is physical limitation in stiffness and in his pass set and, not being quick enough with his feet. I would say it is the exact opposite. It is all physical with Cleveland. Tim Williams had a plethora of pass rush moves and couldn't get home. Did he? I didn't really see a ton. He just kind of came off with explosiveness. I feel like he really lacked a plan overall and didn't know the playbook. Ben Powers, can someone please agree with me that Anthony Averett is the worst Raven since Ethan Brooks? What? No way. Anthony Averett had a good year last year. He was pretty locked down too. Our first preseason game in 18, you could tell he was hot garbage. So his first preseason, like 2021, man. Our third best corner is Jimmy, and healthy Tay is 4th. Different positions. Prochet makes plays against Marlon or Marcus or not yet. Nope. Haven't seen any of that. So that's the thing with Prochet. He's tearing up Dorsey. He's tearing up Jordan Richards. He's tearing up, some of these other guys here. Westry, he has some reps on and guys like that. But you're not seeing him beat up on the Ravens' top shelf guys. And so it's, going to be a little different when you're playing Mike Hilton or, Bryce Callahan or some of these other premier, even Tavon Young. I have not seen Prochet beat up on any of the Ravens starting corners with any consistency, but he is absolutely torching the backup guys. Like he is obliterating them. It's kind of like you don't really want to throw at Marlon. Like you don't really want to throw at Marcus. You don't really want to throw at Marlon unless, they're playing really far off. So, and you got like Bateman or something underneath, like Bateman's taking advantage of them, or unless it's like one-on-one and you see that they have a step. And like I said, McSorley took so long to get the ball out that Deion Kane beat Marlon on. It was like, he took like a second too long to get it out. So Marlon like gave up some ground early, could have hit Deion Kane in stride and it might be a touchdown. And instead the ball doesn't come out. So like they're so calculated in taking these deep shots a lot of the time that it just like isn't realistic all the way. So it's a different situation. Glenn Davis, nice to meet you as well, man. Hope you enjoyed your snow cone that you had there. Did we see a lot of gun out there? Some under center stuff, mostly gun. It's mostly gun. There is some under center stuff mixed in there, but mostly gun still. It's going to be more of a matchup kind of thing, I think. Montez Sweat. Yeah, Montez Sweat's built a little similar. I'd say Sweat plays with more power, though, still, and is just a bigger guy. Like, Owe is long. He's not small. He's just lean. Very, very lean. That's how he runs so fast. When Marlon caught the ball, was it a body catch or hands? It was hands, and it smacked off his hand. He was my guy, Josh Oliver. Hope he gets a good amount of snaps. I definitely think we're going to see some snaps. I would say at least if Josh Oliver stays healthy, I would be surprised if he doesn't get at least like 150, 200 snaps this year. Who was the best pass catcher today at practice, missing half your offensive players? Bateman, Prochet, and Kane were the 3 best, I'd say, for sure. Anthony Averett would start on a lot of teams. Yeah, probably like in 5-10 teams. Feels like a guarantee for Boykin, not just injuries, but COVID issues for other teams. Sure. Or has Ardarius Washington's size shown to be a problem, or is he showing well for himself? We'll see in the preseason because he's one of those like see the play happen and go take a guy's ankles out before they turn up field kind of hitters. I haven't seen him get run over or anything. he's had some really tight coverage and played aggressively. So Ardarius Washington, I think, is going to trend up throughout camp. I think he's already starting to. I think they're getting more comfortable. I think he's getting more comfortable in the playbook and all that good stuff. Yeah, AA is not trash, but he's not Marcus. It's a good way to put it. Away low-key built like Zadarius Smith. No, couldn't be further from that. Zadarius Smith is like 22-inch biceps, like thick, like doesn't have definition in his abs, has a barrel chest. OA is ripped, complete vascularity, thin legs. Like OA is built like a very strong basketball player, more so. Like he is long, but he has some muscle on him. Like he's very defined, very low body fat, but Zadarius Smith is like 270 plus and a madman. He's kind of the opposite. Where are they lining Chris Smith up? Chris Smith has been playing some sub package. He's been playing on the edge. They've been moving him around a little bit, doing some sub package stuff with him. So all over the place quite a bit. Who am I looking forward to seeing this season, this regular season? Matt Boyke. I'm looking forward to seeing Bozeman at center, what he can do. I'm looking forward to seeing this entire receiving core in general, especially Bateman, especially Hollywood. I'm looking forward to Deshaun Elliott in year 2, very much so. I think that he's, having a great camp, and I think he's going to continue to be better and better. Especially, this is a big year for him. This is a contract year, so I don't know. I don't know how many picks he gets. He's more of a physical player than he is, but I think he'll have a couple this year. I think he has 2-3 picks this year and get some sacks and has a 90, 100 tackle kind of season and then fills out the stat sheet. So I'm excited for Elliott. J.K. Dobbins I'm very excited for. And of course, Lamar. You're always excited to see Lamar Jackson, what he can do. So it's going to be fun to watch eventually when he does get out there. And hopefully they're able to – I just hope that Lamar is able to kind of not rush back in and like overdo it and, make this frantic kind of energy, like playing catch up. Just pretend you were, sidelined for 10 days. Let's say you had a sore ankle, just get back in there, get into the swing of things and try and match intensity and build and stack days. And I think that Lamar needs to really start taking the day-to-day. It seems like he needs to take the day-to-day, minute-to-minute kind of feel that all the champions talk about and start looking that way a little bit more so and focusing on the day-to-days more so. And, think about what Tom Brady says. Think about what Michael Jordan says. Think about all these GOATs and all the GOATs that Lamar looks up to. And, he talks about Tom Brady all the time. And then he's talking about Super Bowl. No, talk about today. Be in the moment, be in the rep, do all that stuff. And I think that the Ravens can win a Super Bowl if Lamar Jackson, they surrounded him with a good bit of weapons. I think this offensive line is, it's going to come together, hopefully, by midway in the season. Stanley, TBD, left guard situation. I feel like I might like to have Phillips out there right now. If I was putting my first string offensive line out, I'm going to go hopefully Stanley when he gets back, Phillips, Bozeman, Zeitler, and Villanueva. I think Cleveland's got some work to do. Maybe he can come in midseason if Phillips struggles. But to me, I'm excited for what Phillips looks like right now as opposed to the day that Ben Cleveland just had. Again, just, second day of padded practice. He's going to get reps in the preseason. Cleveland's going to get better and better and better. So that's going to be a good development. Duvernay is the flanker, as I've mentioned before. He's playing that Z roll a lot. He's playing in the slot. He's playing in some bunches and all kinds of stuff. So he's moving all around. Brandon Stevens playing more strong safety than nickel. He's playing more free safety than anything else. He is Brandon Stevens is the direct backup to Deshaun Elliott, it feels like. But yeah, so that about does it. About 38 minutes here. I've got some other responsibilities to attend to. We've been running a little long the last 2 days with padded practice. There's more notes and more to talk about with the line and all that good stuff. So I appreciate you guys. Throw this a like, throw this a follow, whatever the YouTubers all say. Do all the stuff you're supposed to. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it, and I'll talk to you guys soon.